This video is brought to you by JunkyMonkeys.com.
Skateboard shoes are fun. They do more than just flip your board under your feet. They even help express yourself in a fashionable way. Everything from colorways to technologies to different pro models. There's been a lot of skateboard shoes manufactured all over the world. But to me, I think more shoes stand out more than others. The early days of 88 footwear to Vox, this is Junky Monkey's top 5 most iconic skateboard shoes of all time. The first one on my list is a Vans shoe. This shoe came out originally in '89, and it was originally a high top. And that shoe would be Steve Caballero's half cab. The original one was called the Caballero. It was, like I said, a high top, and it was Vans' first pro model shoe ever. What happened when the original cabs came out, skateboarders from pros alike to amateurs started to cut the high top. And even Steve Cab started doing this himself. And what guys would do back in the day is they would put stickers around to keep the stuffing in and also duct tape. And some guys even went as far as sewing the edges to make sure that the stuffing would remain intact. So that happened for a few years, and then Steve talked to Vans and said, shit, could we make my shoe a mid-top? And can we call it the half cab? Now the full cab was a trick that Steve Caballero invented called the Fakey 360. Tony Hawk and some other guy, I forgot his name, but I'm sorry. It might be Lance Mountain, but no, I shouldn't say that. I don't know who it is. He invented the half cab, which is just, half of the Caballero. Full cab, half cab. He trademarked the name half cab on his shoe and changed the design. The original logo was actually a dragon that made the letter C and then Caballero. The new logo is him doing a half cab. This ended up being a really popular shoe. So popular, it's been out for 20 years. And on the 20th anniversary, I remember Billy told me this, Vans made a full cab. Steve would cut it in half, and then he duct taped it. And he signed the signature, kind of like an early 90s memorabilia, or late 80s. They made 20 of those custom half cabs, one for every year that the shoe was out. Unfortunately, I got the canvas kind. So if I ever do a kickflip on these things, it'll probably bust. An old classic feel. This has been going on for 20 years. And that's why this makes number 5 the most iconic skateboard shoes of all time. It was hard choosing number 4 because 4 and 3 were so close. It has a lot to do with legacy and a story. Reynolds 3s. The Reynolds 3s, other than this being Andrew Reynolds' third generation shoe, there's something special to go with this, and that is when this shoe originally came out in 2004 ASR in San Diego, it was a big S game of skate. Now Reynolds didn't compete in the game of skate, but he was present there. And everyone was talking about the Reynolds 3s. And at the time, the shoe wasn't announced yet. It wasn't launched or anything. He was wearing them. What made this shoe so dope, pure fact that on the top of the rings right here where the top of the shoelace goes, the shoe came with diamonds. Now, they weren't like real diamonds, the little fake plastic ones. It was like 2 legs and you would stretch it apart and it would be on the ends here. That was huge. Everyone was talking about the Reynolds 3s at ASR. It was just the boss man walking around with his girlfriend at the time wearing a pair of these. Huge. Amazing. And I took a photo with him. I don't think I have that photo anymore. This is one of the rare occasions that you could wear this with anything and just feel like a pimp. This being Reynolds' third shoe, and it was such a complete different approach than his first two. His first one, it was just, like a normal average skate shoe. And then the second was more redefined. It was a bigger shoe, but it was more designed to, protect you from, harsh impacts. Now this shoe does too, but they slimmed it down. And it made the nose more pointy, added little features like, the diamonds. The thing that makes the fucking shoe is the diamonds. I'm really sad and bummed out that when I bought these, they didn't come with the diamonds. I thought that every Reynolds 3 came with them. Guess not. Such an iconic shoe right here. I don't like the color brown, but, better than nothing. Number 3 is an S shoe. I think you guys know what this is, right? If you're from my generation, you're as old as me, you should know. This shoe, everyone had. Everyone had it. Mike Mo wore it. PJ Ladd wore it. Fucking Paul Rodriguez wore it. Everyone wore this fucking shoe. Costin. Everyone wore. Antoine Dixon wore this shoe when he was on S. He was wearing these shoes in Baker 3. I just gotta announce it right here. It's the SXLs. This shoe was so fucking popular. Just at the pure fact, I think PJ made this shoe popular in my opinion. My humble, honest opinion. People thought if they bought this shoe, they could do any trick. that this shoe was purely designed 100% for skateboarding. That this shoe was designed and made for switch flips, kick flips, tray flips, backside heel flips. Everyone just had that, what's the word here? Had the impression that if they bought this shoe, they could do any skateboard trick in the world. PJ Ladd made it seem like, yeah, you could do any trick on this shoe just because he's fucking crazy. PJ Ladd's Wonderful Horrible Life definitely set that in. This was his favorite shoe until, you know, he had his first pro model come out for S. This shoe destroys any gimmicks. Ollie pads and reinforced toe caps and extra vents. All those gimmick things that, you know, people try to sell you into skate shoes. To them, less was more. This is actually a run pre-hiatus. I bought this on eBay. 2 weeks ago, S just re-announced this shoe. They relaunched it. Just do yourself a favor. Watch PJ Ladd's Wonderful Horrible Life. That'll make you want to buy the shoe. Out of all the greatness that this shoe has produced all over the years, this deserves to be number 3. Number 2 is a newer age shoe than those guys. Those are like, you know, those are all been around for a long time. You should know what this shoe is, right? Oh, you guys probably have had many, many pairs of these. This is the Stefan Janoski's Pendleton colorway, or version, or I don't know what to call this. This pair actually isn't mine. This is a Billy Jackson's pair. He lent them to me just for this video, and thank you very much, Billy. I appreciate it. And he has a whole collection of these things. This is all he wears. This is all he skates in. He doesn't skate in these. This is a very nice pair, as you can see. This is like, you know, grandpa's sweater. But he also gave me these two also. These, I think these are, I think he calls them the camo digitals. I don't know if I'm holding these right. He probably don't like that. Camos or digital camo. You probably laugh at me. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. But the reason this makes number 2 on the list is because this is such a contradiction to me. This shoe makes no sense. When this shoe was first announced, I saw it and I said, that's not a skate shoe. That's a shoe that you wear to go out. You know, Nike made a nice looking shoe. Name tag banner right here. Nice little font. It looks like a long, you know, a long tongue right here. It's not, this impression it gives me. The original colorway is black and white, and it came out with leather laces. Leather laces. This shoe doesn't look like it could protect you. It's a thin. It looks thin. It's a tiny shoe. This shoe looks like it was meant for skateboarding. There's a lot of shoe to protect you. A lot of shoe to protect your foot. After watching Stefan Janoski's footnotes and talking to Billy, because he was big on mid-tops. He loved the Jerry Sue Americas and the half caps that I just talked about. And then he would get these nasty heel bruises. He doesn't get heel bruises in these. There's a lot of gel cushion in here. You know, maybe a combination of the two. I'm not sure. And then after watching Stefan Janoski's footnotes, he says skateboard companies used to make great skateboard shoes, but then they stopped. What they do now is they make shoes that are big and bulky and you can't feel your board. Yeah, it protects you, handle impact well, however, you can't get a good feel for your board. He chooses function over protection. If you could just design a shoe that can function well with your skateboard, where you can get the feel for it, and I guess talking to Billy, this shoe has great protection, that function, that philosophy works very, very well. If you can feel a kickflip better and you can actually land on it, you don't have to make a shoe to design you to jump down so many times. It's a surprise. It doesn't look like a skate shoe, looks great, and skates great. So that's why this makes number 2 on my list. And before, if you guys want to check out Billy's collection, here's just 2 of his shoes that he let me borrow. We were joking to have him let me borrow all his pairs, but he has a lot. Check out his Instagram. It's right here. He recently got these beach ones. It's like a bunch of umbrellas on the sand. It looks really, really cool. So I have him take a photo and you guys can check that out. Number 1 is an Osiris shoe. And there's only one Osiris shoe that deserves any honorable mention, any notoriety, any type of speech that should be spoken about. Any shoe ever created by Osiris all starts with one shoe. This shoe has a lot of history behind it and has a very unique feature of any other shoe, and that is fucking bigger. It's fucking huge. It's a big ass boat. It's the Osiris D3s. This shoe is totally opposite of the Stefan Janoski. This shoe is fucking huge. You couldn't feel hot lava if you were to walk in a volcano with this shoe. You'll see this is D3 2001. Let me see if I can focus in on this. There it is, right there. It looks like a shoe that was made by aliens. Let me give you a little bit of a look here. See that big ass shoe? Now, I recently posted on Instagram of my new board setup with a backwards truck, by the way. You guys are really funny for commenting on that photo. Guys are saying this shoe is completely ugly. Yeah, it's definitely not the most fashionable shoe. Pros like Braden Safransky talked about the shoe like it's having like 2 turtle shells under your feet. But this shoe to me is so dope. Back in the day when I'd see guys who wore this shoe, I think mainly number one I can definitely say was Chad Fernandez. He killed the fuck out of Hollywood High. He crooked it, he lip slid it, back fidoed it, over crooked it with a pair of D3s. And other pros skated too. I remember Jerry Seuss a storm flip in these shoes. I know he wore the shoe because he was on Osiris. Designers definitely didn't make this the sexiest looking shoe of all time, but goddamn, it's the most iconic. You can't top the Osiris D3s. On an iconic level, there's no way. Look at that. This screams skateboarding. It screams uniqueness. It's unprecedented on the design and look of this shoe. This deserves to be number one out of pure uniqueness and boldness and guts to announce a shoe like this, the D3s. Look at that. So those are my top 5 most iconic skateboard shoes of all time. To review, we talked about the Caballeros, the half cabs. We had the Reynolds 3s, the SXLs, the Stefan Janoskis, and the Osiris D3s. But I thought one more shoe deserved an honorable mention. There aren't too many shoes out there like this, at least that I know of, that have such a unique story to it. So my last shoe I'd like to talk about is a very rare shoe, at least nowadays. I'm very lucky I was able to attain a pair of these recently, and that shoe would be the Eric Costin 1S's. His very first pro model ever. Another thing that's cool about this shoe is that Costin drew every detail about this shoe by hand. I guess on a napkin or a piece of paper or something. But he drew everything. Every little detail he drew himself. I'm holding a drawing right now. Not only he didn't wear this shoe, but he wore this shoe. This is his first pro model, and he drew it. His drawing is in my hand. To me, that's amazing. I'm slapping his drawing. That is so fucking cool. He ended up having 7 pro models on S. All the other pro models weren't good. The first one and the 7th one were his best work in my opinion. In my opinion. So you can't say I'm wrong. If you like the K3s, you like the K3s. But this shoe, it all started with this shoe. And I think that deserves an honorable mention in the top 5 most iconic skateboard shoes of all time. I'll give you a little bit of a closer look here to it there. Authentic Eric Costin's right there. The Costinator. S had a lot of dope shoes. He drew that. He drew every tread right there. He drew this. I don't know what the fuck that is, but he drew it. Anywho, that's my list of iconic skateboard shoes, plus the Eric Costin ones. If you want to check out all the photos and high resolution of all these shoes, just click the link below and you can see every detail about this shoe. And also, check out Billy Jackson's Instagram for that photo of all his Janoskis. He has all these rare Janoskis. He has these hacky sack ones. He has this, he has one he just got. Not the beach ones. He got those too. There's another one. He has all types of fucking shoes. He's crazy about Janoskis. But anyways, thank you for watching. And if you leave a comment below on what you think the most iconic skateboard shoe of all time is. This is just my list. The Junkie Monkeys list. Let me know what yours is. Thanks for watching.